friends, David Miller here, Phoenix, Arizona multimedia artist. Welcome you to another episode of Camera Quest. Today I am going to be talking about the Diana Instax Square camera put out by Lomo. This is something that I didn't find secondhand in a thrift store like so many of my other cameras featured on the show. I actually bought this direct from Lomo, lomography.com. and got a deal. There was like extra lenses and stuff. It was heavily clearanced, and I had a Diana many years ago, almost 10 years ago to this point, and then I remember raffling it off because essentially Diana is a cheap plastic camera that doesn't have like a steady film advance, so you can overlap your frames. You're gonna get multiple, if not infinite exposures if you felt like putting it on one piece of film. And you know, when you're in college, you're starting out, they usually hook you up with like a Diana or a Holga as your first medium format film camera to play with. Certainly when I was in college and it was the film days, it was just like right before digital took off, we had to get ourselves these cheap plastic cameras. They're fun. Certainly they don't require any other technology, batteries and so forth, but you have to think when you're working with those kind of cameras, you have medium format film, which you have to have processed specially, and you need to have it scanned or scan it yourself. And that's a lot of money and time involved for things that generally aren't like a quality level that's worthy of presentation. I look back at my Diana film shots and I'm like, I got a few good ones, but I probably spent hundreds of dollars, you know, buying film and getting it developed to get those few good shots. And you always have to factor that in when you're messing around with these kinds of oddball cameras like we're talking about here. So this one being an Instax Square camera. I've only had one other Instax Square camera that was an SQ10, I believe, and that one also was like a hybrid digital film camera, and the results from that one didn't really satisfy me. I did like that I could reprint images so I could sell them over and over, but I wanted something that had a more natural aesthetic to it, something where instead of having a digital image print to the film, it just goes straight through the plastic lens and gives me that kind of lo-fi aesthetic that I crave in most of my artwork, not just what I make, but the stuff that I get through, you know, vinyl records, bands that go for like an older style of production, so on and so forth. So this guy, he is modeled after the Diana F, but he has film that goes inside him. The back opens here. Pack of film inside. Instax Square is film you can pick up in most places. I'll walk into a Walmart or a Target and see the peg hook is empty for Instax Square, so I took it out on a couple shoots over the summer. Not too many, because to cut to the chase, not a fan of this camera. The images that came out on it, when they did come out, were either underexposed or they had this real heavy black vignette around them. And I'm not opposed to vignetting, but considering that an Instax Square is a much smaller amount of real estate than, say, a actual Polaroid image, a high enough percentage of the photo was black vignette that I felt like it was almost pointless to have the rest of the photo incorporate anything in it. So there's no viewfinder on this. There is a viewfinder attachment that goes into the hot shoe, but I didn't find that helped me at all with getting images, you know, properly framed and composed within the camera. There is a multiple exposure setting on the side, similar to the other Lomo instant film cameras that I've got. Something that's in common with this one and those other cameras was, even with new batteries in it, I had a lot of problems where maybe the film didn't eject, it didn't expose properly, and the percentage of good shots I got just on a couple shoots that I took this on was very low. I'm presenting a bunch of images to you. I'm not saying those are the best images I've ever taken in my life. I'm just showing you pictures that I took with this camera so you can see what results come out of it. They were done with natural light. I wasn't using any sort of extra flash. It's possible you get better results with the extra flash. That isn't something that comes with this camera. You have to buy it separately. And all of a sudden, you have to buy these accessories, your investment's getting a lot higher for something that's not gonna give you great results. Because it is one picture at a time, I'm missing my favorite thing that I got out of my old plastic Diana F, which was that I could overlap the film frames and get some really weird effects there. I mean, you can do multiple exposures all you like on this, but it's not gonna overlap them and give you that kind of funky result. I'm also not pleased with Fuji's Instax formula being so colorfully accurate with this aesthetic. Now, I am perfectly happy having my Instax be color correct on my Wi-Fi printer, on my Fuji Neo Classic camera, other formats. But with the Diana, if everything is lo-fi but the color is perfect, for me, that's kind of annoying. It's kind of like when I'm shopping for vinyl, I'm looking for something that has a little bit of age, texture, weather to it, because the whole package fits together. And in this case, I'm getting things that are supposedly color correct, but they've got a heavy black vignette around it. With my experience using Polaroids, Polaroid original stuff, the color being off just a little bit gives me the satisfaction of feeling like this has a history ingrained in it. And I'm not getting that out of this camera. So more or less, this is a hard do not recommend for the Diana F Instax Square. If you have one and your results are way better than mine and you figured out how to use it creatively and make great art, I really want to see your images. You can send them to me here, post links below in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.